So let's see. We are now looking at, just to quickly recap, started with launch. We got up to chapter 7, realized, okay, this book is written for those who have an email list. You guys are starting from 0. We don't want to spend the next several weeks building the email list. Let's look at this one. There are so many great startup books out there that tell you how to truly start from 0. Not, hey, start from 0. By the way, you need 20,000 people on your email list. So we've switched to Noah Kagan's book. The thing I love about Noah's book is, you guys know this already. I'm obsessed with reading, and I usually read like 1 to 5 books a week, depending on how stressed I am, how much time I have. And Noah's book, as you would expect from an Ashkenazi Jew, he probably read a few hundred startup books beforehand, and then he boiled it down to the most action-oriented key takeaways. And so in chapter 3, what we have is equivalent to what some books take 300 pages to tell you. So this is just amazing. Because my gosh, like, instead of wasting, you spend, what is it, a total of 30 pages covering. So it's difficult because it does not allow you to just read things passively and say, oh yeah, I'll do that one day. It is very action oriented. So you're literally reading the book and then doing something on the computer. But I think that's why it's perfect for startup founders who are serious about actually launching a business soon and not just thinking about launching a business within the next 10 years. What did you guys think of it? And what kind of questions do you have? You can drop them into the chat. Just a quick reminder, if you are new, which I didn't share this with anyone new, so it should just be like the Molo 9 people. You have to be subscribed for 5 minutes in order to be able to put something in the chat. But if you guys want to drop your questions into Telegram, or you're typing in Telegram. You read the whole book? Okay. Andy is an overachiever who read the whole book. That's cool. I love reading books really fast too. That's why book clubs are hard for me, because I'll sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to read a chapter, and I kind of just lose track of time and read the whole book. Okay, so chapter 3, he is telling you to find paying customers. Like, you get an idea, great, go find people who will pay you for the minimum viable product of that idea, and then create the minimum viable product when you have buyers. This is exactly how Molo 9 was built. Someone asked me to build it. I built the MVP. 300 people signed up for various versions. We had tiers that ranged from $1 to $197. And all they did was get access to 5 playbooks. That was it. That was the MVP of Molo 9. Then people asked for the software, and we converted the playbooks into software, into the Molo 9 marketing brain. And that's when we ended up with more than 3,000 people buying and using Molo 9. So I absolutely love this. There is an entire book that covers this chapter, but they take like literally the whole book to cover this chapter. It's called Start from Zero. So in this chapter, what he's basically saying is like, look, there's so many different ways that you can, it's called a beta launch or a pre-sale. You sell the concept, and if people purchase it, if people are willing to pay for it, then you build it. You might have seen we do that a lot with Molo 9. So I'll constantly be asking you guys, what do you think of this feature or this feature or this feature? And if we don't get enough people to pay for that feature to be built, we don't build it. We're not VC backed. It's bootstrapped. That's how we're able to keep everything affordable. We don't have to pay VCs back within a certain amount of time. But so we do the same thing. We look at, anytime we're developing something new, I see how many people are willing to pay for it first. Does that cover our costs? Yes. Okay, let's build it. You're doing the same thing here. In chapter 3, you're finding people that are going to pay for whatever you're building, and then you build it. You do pre-sales. Something to keep in mind is PayPal. Oh wait, I keep forgetting to share. Sorry, one more person needs this link. PayPal does not um, one second, sorry. PayPal does not allow you, here we are, okay. PayPal does not allow you to pre-sell something. So they don't allow you to sell something if you don't have the inventory, and they don't allow you to sell something if you don't already have the product built. So if you're going to use that model, he says to use PayPal. You have to be very careful with that. I worked with one startup where we got images of the product. We did all the branding, everything for the product. And then I don't know if you can hear about that, but we have these two mini poodles that are about this big, and they cause a lot of problems sometimes. And they just got into something that we might hear shattering glass in a few minutes, but I'll clean it up later. Okay, so we designed this product, and then we had to sell, I think, like so many orders, and then we placed the order and had it shipped here, and then we sent it to the customers. PayPal does not appreciate when you do that. So we ended up having the accounts locked. We had to end up investing our own money and then getting the money out of PayPal later. So that is one thing to keep in mind. But all right, what questions do you guys have about chapter 3? Any questions? No? Okay. I created, oh, you're putting them in Telegram? Okay, I read the book, but it's been a while. Yeah, Andy does the same thing as me. You sit down to read a chapter and you read the whole thing. I do that. That's literally how I read a book a week. It's not that I plan to read a book a week. It's that either the book captures my attention, I sit down for an hour and I end up reading it in 3, or the book doesn't capture my attention and I read like a few pages and then I'm done with it. Okay, and then V said, I loved his style, easy to follow, read, and not full of terminology that newbies do not understand. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Noah Kagan's very good at that, and the other guy, Alex Hormozzi. They're both very good at not using special jargon. Also love the fun vibe of his. Yeah, yeah. So I've been following Noah's work for like a decade, and it's been very interesting to see his vibe change over the years, because there was one point where one of his relationships went south, and everyone that like was a fan of his had to stop following him for a while because he was so angry when he was on camera. And that's why, like, when I've had bad things happen, I try to go off camera for just like a couple months because I don't want to come across angry to people who didn't hurt me. But yeah, now he's back to being fun Noah, which is what we all love. He actually gave it to me for free. You are very lucky. I did not get the book for free. He's saying with the MVP doesn't necessarily have to be built before selling. However, people need to see and try out stuff, don't they? No, they don't. They do not. So as the example that I had with the one luxury product, what we had, okay, so, and you're asking about the email list as well. All right, so let me grab that book. All right, so each of these guys have their own, I'm sorry if there's like stuff behind me, my daughter's art, I have no idea. Anyways, kids are home this week, obviously. Okay, so this book, he is all about using an email list to sell. He had an existing business selling information. I don't know if you've ever signed up for this, but financial advisors will sell people a letter. And you pay them, I think it's like $15,000 a year. And every day they send you an email with what the financial markets are doing and how you should make your investment decisions accordingly. And then they give you the option to hire them to be your financial advisor. He had an email list and he was telling them how to trade specific stocks. That's a proven business model. It's very common in the finance world. That's what he was doing. Then when he came out with his course that he sold to that email list, they were already his customers who trusted him, who were making financial decisions based off of what he did. If you notice, a lot of the case studies that this guy includes are existing businesses who add something new. That's why this book will be great for us to read later on. But the idea of building an email list and selling to it, pause that for a second, because there is a place for it. It is not at the start of your business. This guy, Alex Ramozzi, his idea is to saturate a specific geographic region with a really good offer. Just do pound the streets with sales, really good offers, and tons of ads in a specific geographic location. This is very easy to do because when you target a specific geographic region, instead of targeting the entire United States, you can be hyper targeted with your with all of the marketing messaging and everything. Russell Brunson's approach is to sell people information. So you present the information, pieces of the information in specific ways or samples of the information to get them to buy more information from you. This is perfect for consultants and those selling courses. What he's doing here is he's talking about product. So specifically products or software where you tell them what the MVP is, you explain it to them, you use marketing messaging to let them know what it's going to feel like, and then once they pay for it, then you start making it. And ideally, you want to sell enough units that it pays for the production of that product. Let me bring out one more book, 1 second. I just thought of this one as well. So this is 12 Months to $1 Million. This book is specifically for those who create product businesses. So what he recommends doing is if you have $10,000, you get the product, you sell it, and then you use those sales to buy more of the product. So what he's saying is don't do this. Create a demand, put your social media post out, put whatever you need to put out to get people to pre-purchase what you're creating, and then place orders to have it fulfilled. So as some of you know, I'm a third generation international model. I keep wanting to say retired because I was retired and forced out of retirement. But my friends and I used to joke when people would say, hey, we want you to do this shoot, we want you to do this. We'd say our feet don't touch the ground for more than 10K. So for a lot of the photo shoots that I did in Europe, they'd want you up at 5 a.m. and you would be doing a bikini photo shoot in the mountains in November. So it's freezing cold, you're tired, it's extra cold because it's really early in the morning because they want to do the photo shoot at sunrise. So that was just like a saying, like when people would say, hey, this is going to be great for your portfolio. It was like, we don't need another thing for our portfolio. If you want us up that early and posing in barely any clothing and freezing our butts off and looking happy for the camera, you're paying us this much. That's basically the mindset that Noah has here is, okay, do not manufacture until you have people who have paid for it. Once they've paid for it, you show up. Does that make sense? I'll open Telegram here so that I don't have to keep switching between them. I never thought of reading a chapter only before your book club. Yeah, this is the only time I've read a book like this at this slower pace is for this book club. Reading each chapter beforehand so I have it fresh in my mind for you guys. 10x mindset. Yeah, I guess so. I haven't read that book yet. I read the first chapter and I was like, yeah, I already understand this. And I kind of just didn't go through the rest of it. But if you have specific chapters in there, Andy, that you think I should be reading, I will read those specific chapters. But otherwise, I don't know. I read the first chapter and I was like, I already do this. And put it to the side. Okay. What other questions do you guys have? For those who are new, you have to subscribe. And then after 5 minutes of being a subscriber, you can ask your questions in the chat. That prevents trolls from spamming the chat. For those of you who are already a part of the Mullenine community, you're asking your questions in Telegram. Sorry, I just saw someone join, so I wanted to announce that quickly. Okay. What other questions do you guys have? V, you might want to add this book to your list, but I would do it after this book, specifically because you're doing product. And this book, I would not go near until your startup has passed like a million, because there are a lot of things that he recommends doing that you need to be cash flow positive, like sufficiently before you implement what he recommends in here. Okay. What other questions? I have a course on Molo 9. I'll give it to you guys as your Merry Christmas present. Just send an email to team@molo9.com, and it walks you through choosing a startup idea that has at least 10 customers from your personal circle of influence. He touches on that in chapter 3, which I think is super, super critical. The course walks you through exactly how to take your idea, turn it into something that the people you know want to buy from you, and then refine the business model. It's something we created to be like a precursor to the uh, Proven Path to Profit course. It is a draft, so I expect you guys, as a thank you, to give me lots of feedback as you go through it. But I can give that to you. Do you have any questions about the circle of influence and the first 10 customers? Should I dive into that for a second? Because that's something a lot of startup founders get wrong. Andy's typing. Yes. Okay. So a lot of founders, when they come up with this idea for a startup, they're like, oh, I'm just going to put it online and people will love me. No. So what happens, and Andy has lived through this, and a few other people, David, Casey, a few of the Molo 9 power users have lived through this with me, where when you put something online for people to just kind of dive into, usually you get the internet trolls, the cyber bullies, the cyber stalkers, and the haters first. It's always better before you get fans. And how you deal with the cyber bullies and the haters putting a bunch of horrible things about you online, uh, if you deal with it with grace, but you also silence them quickly, then you get customers. I don't know if you scroll through the oldest reviews of Molo 9 on AppSumo, you'll see exactly what I mean. But something that a lot of first-time founders do is they think, oh, I'm just going to publish it online, people will love me. That's not what happens. The startups that succeed the most, that succeed the best and the fastest, what they do is they come up with something and they ask 10 of their friends, would you buy this from me? Because usually when you build something, there's this weird thing where like people love to get free stuff and say, oh, I know the business owner, I'm going to get this for free. And so what you need to find is something that your friends and family see a monetary value to, that when you say, hey, I'll do this for you for this, how much would you pay for it? They actually would pay you for it. They value it enough to pay you for it. If they value you enough to pay for it, and they are the people who usually feel like they should be able to ask you something for free, the rest of the market is going to value it enough to pay for it. If your own friends and family don't value it enough to pay you for whatever you're offering, the rest of the market won't either. It'll be a really hard time to grow. But also, when your first 10 customers are people that know you, that want to see you succeed, when a cyber troll writes a negative review about you online, they get 10 more friends and family to come in and write positive reviews about you. So they essentially insulate you and protect you from the types of cyberbullying, trolls, one-star reviews that can take down early stage startups. So they not only are good for validating your business model, they're good for getting your company money. They're good for protecting your company from bad PR, which kills a lot of startups in the beginning. I remember the first time I got a death threat, I was like, I was freaking out. I didn't realize that like most of the death threats and like stalkers you get, or people threatening to stalk you, are fake and they're just someone who's pissed off at 2 in the morning in a foreign country. So we got a Belgian Malinois, which is like this top tier protection dog. We had the state of the art security system put in and all this crazy stuff. Um, and you're protected from that and insulated from that, from crazy people when your first 10 customers are people that care about you, because cyber trolls are going to look at you and be like, oh no, that person has a really loyal fan base. Let's pick on someone else. So there's multiple advantages to starting with people you know as your earliest customers. Okay, any other questions? Let's see. Chapter 3. Let me flip through this. He also talks about doing strategic partnerships. I highly agree with those. Yeah. Okay, the reason I got back into modeling is this really cute older woman and this very cute, like Jewish older mom was like, I need people, my exact demographic is people like you. And I was like, I am like 40 to 50 pounds heavier than any model that you would want. And she said, no, you're my target market. I want them to be working moms who like prioritize their skincare and whatever. So I don't know if you guys know this story, but a few years ago, I modeled for a fashion company. And what we did is we took all the photos as we were doing the photo shoots before the launch, and I was posting them to social media. And all of my friends and family were like, oh my gosh, these bags look so amazing. I want one. Where'd you get it? Which company is this? And I was like, oh, the company's launching soon. 40% of inventory sold opening day. And the only thing we had done for promotion was post the photo shoot photos of the bags. Not even like, I think two of the posts had the brand name in it. But that's the power of strategic partnerships. Is you only need micro influencers to help you get your first so many sales closed, and they don't even have to be perfect. Like, I'm literally almost 20 years older than some of the models that are out there. You just need someone who has people that trust them and will buy based on their recommendation. That's what you're looking for with your strategic partnerships. Okay. Any other questions? Or you guys want to hop online next week to talk about chapter 4? And I will give you the course, give you access to the course after this. Just send an email to team@molo9.com with whichever email address you want to give access to your account, your free course. Andy's good. V, I have no idea why you can't comment on YouTube. Oh, did you subscribe to Molo9? Okay. Oh, V still has questions. Sorry. Okay. I see them now. Okay. If you're not sure what is the best way to monetize a service, like an app, what should you do? So if you're monetizing an app, monetization strategies. I haven't read books on those. I do those in my head. Can you just send me the link to what you want to monetize and I can just give you the answer? Like we're cheating on a test in kindergarten. Because I have not found an algorithmic way to explain monetization strategies. Oh, the luxury product example. Okay. So what we did with the luxury product that I did a few years ago, people were selling this product for $13 and we sold it for $127. The people that were selling it for $13 were selling it with cheap packaging, 0 customer service, 0 replacements if it broke, and that was it. We sold it in luxury packaging. They got a 1-year warranty. If it broke, they could send it back. We would replace it. And we did customer support. So if they had any questions, We were immediately there to email them. So the people that were paying 127 for the same product that others were buying for 13, they knew that they were paying for the customer service and the warranty and the unlimited replacements. So they quickly did the math in their heads. And there are some people who want the $13 product, and there are other people who want the customer service, the $127 customer service and warranty. Um, okay, you subscribed ages ago. Yeah, I see your questions. Do you have any other questions? Maybe just keep them in Telegram. And any other, what about the luxury product example? Mm, taking something cheap and making it luxury is something I do on a case by case basis. I have to, again, the same as like the beta launch. If I know 10 customers that would immediately purchase a product or a service that someone wants me to be a consultant for, I say yes. If I know 10 influential people, because for example, there's this one skincare line. Um, they were asking me about how to expand into the United States. Well, what I'm going to do is take their product, one of their nice, like they have these cute little bags, take one of their cute little bags, stuff a bunch of their lotions in there, and then I'm going to go to a bunch of holiday parties, and I'm going to, at the holiday party, say, "Oh, my hands are dry." Take out the lotion, put it on, give it to my friends, let them try it, let them take a bottle home. Each of the friends I will be doing that with are like, they're massive influencers. One of them a few years ago liked a product I was working with, and so she sent an email to 85,000 people about that product. Um, so that's kind of, how that's even today, that's how I decide, like, which brands I'm gonna work with. Do I know 10 influential people who will rapidly grow this as soon as I become the growth hacker or the fractional CMO for this? And then which book was I recommending for you? Okay, so it's you'll read this one. This is Noah Kagan's book. And then if you want to go into the product space where you're buying product that's developed overseas and selling it in other countries around the world, this is a really good book. How to pick a winning product, build a real business, and become a seven-figure entrepreneur. It is only written for product businesses. It is not, there's some things you can get in here if you're a software business, but not much. Now, if you're a service business, it's just this one. There's another book. It's called Building a Kick-Ass Agency. Okay, so V, with that specific model, that specific type of app, what I would do is I would have people pre-ordering their food through the app. And then by the time they arrive at the truck, their food is ready, and you take a percentage of the food sales. So it'd be kind of like an Uber Eats, but people are arriving to the food at the truck. Because like you said, people aren't going to pay to have a map to where the food is. Because they get that for free right now. It's standard in the US for them to take 30% of the revenue. So if the oh, so there's no GPS. You don't have things like Google Maps or Yelp or Apple Maps in Mexico? No one knows where the food trucks are located. Oh, they don't show which vendors will be. That's really weird. Okay, I've never seen that before. Um, Most are moving on bikes. Okay. Okay, so they have a bike with, like, a food truck attached to it, and then they sell the food? Oh, I've seen that at Bolivia? Okay. Okay. Um, that's gonna be an expensive app to build, unless you know a coder. Anything with anything with mapping data, it's a cargo bike. Yeah, okay, so anything with moving data like that where they have to track the location of things, last time I saw quotes, it was like 120K for an app like that to be developed. So you would wanna know a developer. Um, who do I know? Who do I know? Who do I know? I know 2 people who lived in Mexico. Okay, um, neither of them could help you with that, though. Okay. What you would wanna do here most likely is speak with those who have the vendors themselves and say, "Hey, if I built this app, which would help you to sell more, would you give me 30% of revenue?" And I would sell it from that side. And once you have so many vendors signed up, agreeing that they would give you a revenue share. Okay, if the vendors love the idea, then what you're doing is you're getting them to agree to the revenue share. And you can look at exactly how Delivery Dudes in the US does it, or Uber Eats, or Grubhub. Those are 3 businesses in the US that do something where they have the connecting people with food. Grubhub, Delivery Dudes, um, Uber Eats. And you actually might be able to go to one of those businesses and say, "Hey, I'm local. I would like to manage business development in Mexico for your company, and this is how we would change the revenue model." And then they would pay you to expand their business in Mexico. I know that they might think that the revenue share is morally uncool, but usually, I mean, it's also uncool to expect you to pay for a $120,000 app to be developed and not get that money back. Like, you're not a charity. Um, I think reread the first 2 chapters of this book, because there are a lot of people who try to get up into the startups, try to get into the startup space, and the reason that they don't make it is because a lot of people try to make you feel guilty for asking for money for the thing that you're offering. Um, so I would reread the first 2 chapters of this book because it kind of helps you to uh, navigate that. It is a weird spot to be in, but essen basically what happened is quite a few years ago, VCs started just pouring money into tech startups, and the tech startups would their only goal was user acquisition. So they would give, like, lots of really nice things away for free, which should have been anywhere between 200 and $1,000 per user, and they were able to give it away for free because the VCs were paying for it. The venture capitalists were paying for it. So then there became this whole idea that startups should be like charities and starving artists, and they should pour millions into their own startup, and they should give everything away for free. And that's why a lot of startups ended up dying and ended up bankrupt, especially if they're bootstrapped. So you could have the users pay, but then think something that realistically will end up happening is if the users are paying on their end, they're gonna open your app to see where the truck is. They're not gonna place the order. They're just gonna go to the truck and order the food. You're not going to get your money back. The number one goal as a startup founder in your early days is not to be bankrupt. The number one goal is not to go bankrupt. So you have to, even if it's uncomfortable, you have to charge people for what you're doing. There were times where people would complain, oh, Molo and I should give everything away for free after the lifetime deal. And I had to very honestly say to those people, look, is it more important to you to get a few things for free, or is it more important to you that Molo 9 continues to exist? Because we can't continue to exist if we don't make money to keep the lights on. It costs us money to keep the software running. It costs us money to keep the platform going. So we can't do things for free. And if we try to, that's incredibly, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The company will go bankrupt. The company will shut down. And then everyone who paid to use Molo 9 will have nothing. So it's uncomfortable to tell people, hey, you have to pay for this to exist, but they have to pay for it to exist. They do. You're not taking away money that they urgently need. You're bringing them more customers, and you're only taking a percentage from the customers that you bring them. So V just said, I get that, but how can I make them sign up then? For them, it's like taking away money they urgently need. You're not taking away money. You're bringing them new customers. So when you bring them new customers, they're giving you a commission only on those new customers that you're bringing them. Those new customers would have never found them if it wasn't for you. You're giving them new customers and taking a sales commission. That's it. For them, they should see it as a clear win-win because you're bringing them new business and you're bringing them more business than they would have had. If they urgently need money, they will want the new customers. And to get those new customers, they have to cut you in, or you have no way to bring them those new customers. You're not a charity. Yeah. V said, nice way to look at it. Thanks. Yep. Yep. You always structure it as a win-win. Okay. Any other questions? Or are you guys good? No. Okay. Send your emails over to the support team. They have off tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a holiday here. So get that email to them today. And I'll make sure that we get that free course added, or it's not a free course, but we get it to you for free. And I'll see you guys next, I think it's next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Yes. Okay, so chapter 4 next Wednesday at 11 a.m. I'll see you guys there. Don't forget the Black Friday sales. I don't know if you saw the email that went out. And then the Black Friday sales end on Friday night. It's a shopping holiday in the US. And those are the lowest prices that we will do the whole year. There will be promotions at Christmas and New Year's, but Black Friday is up to 75% off. Christmas I think is up to 40 or 50% off, and then New Year's is 25% off. So if there's anything you guys were thinking about getting, this is the best time to get it. All right, talk to you later. See you guys. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I'll see you before Christmas and Hanukkah. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.